It's hilarious. However, the thing that really makes me laugh is I guess during the Q&A last night, I didn't tune in. It was supposedly on Pantheon's Discord, and they locked the Discord. Matter of fact, let's just we're gonna do it right here. We're gonna record it as part of this video, and then I'll just cut this snippet out when we're done. So, during last night's Pantheon Q&A, which by the way was not open to everyone, they locked the Discord invites because they were trying to keep. They're in damage control mode right now. The 24/7 video that they put out has been ratioed. The last time I looked, it was like 800 and some downvotes to like 150 upvotes. It's even worse than it was when I recorded my reaction video yesterday. Chris Perkins, Joppa, apparently said last night that the studio is considering bringing on volunteer helpers to help speed up the dev process because they're out of fucking money. This is the funniest shit ever. Like, you can't make this stuff up anymore. I guess it says here. So I'm gonna paraphrase here. I'm just browsing through the MMORPG.com thing that they put up. When Joppa was asked whether the studio would consider bringing on volunteer helpers to help speed up the dev process, he said it's something the team is looking at. Said they did the Q&A last night to clear up the errors surrounding the reports the team is working on the spin-off Extraction game. It's not a report, it's true. They released their 24/7 video, I think yesterday or the day before. They tried to justify the new mode under alpha testing as a way to help speed up and contribute to the development of the MMO themselves. However, the topic of speeding up development was something that was touched on multiple times during the Q&A, with one viewer asking whether or not Visionary Realms would consider opening development to volunteers from the community. Oh, Jesus. His answer was there are certain legal complications that come from working with volunteers. All I can say is that someone who volunteered on this project for the first year and a half for free. He admitted that he is the only full-time developer on Pantheon's development team. Holy shit. Like, this just keeps getting deeper and oh my god. Oh, this is the most because they just did that big interview. Remember last year they got on with Carnage because Carnage invested money, and so they got on with like Chris Rowan, the CEO, and all these people, and they were like, "Yeah, we've got." I think the number I would have to go back and watch my video because I did cover that last year. I think they said they had 25. I don't quote me on this because I need to go watch the video because it was over like a year and a half ago when I did this video when Carnage was on with them. I am pretty sure they said they had 24 full-time developers and 35 total making up part-time. I would need to go watch that footage again to confirm those numbers. Please don't crucify me with those numbers, everybody, if you're watching this after the fact. But he then said, I am the only full-time designer. All of our other designers are part-time, but they all put full-time hours into Pantheon, and they work harder because it's really difficult to do a full-time day job, especially the ones that they do, and then come in and put the hours in that they do here. So he is literally, they have one. How can anybody the idea? Oh man, you guys have got me, man. Like that, the whole bullshit of like Pantheon patient. Trust in Pantheon, trust in Joppa and the team. There's one dude working on the fucking game. One dude. One dude. One full-time employee. Everybody else is part-time. That is ridiculous. There's drive and conviction to push development forward. That drive and conviction don't mean shit, bro. You're out of money. If you're the only full-time employee, you're out of money. Oh my god. Ha 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 ha. Says here, Visionary Realms Benjamin Deem then stepped in to say we do not have currently any plans for volunteer positions. That dude is one of the all he does is PR spin, man. PR spin. Liam says I could be a developer. Hell yeah, anybody could be a developer if you're a volunteer. Oh, then they try to say This is how they quote. They'll do whatever is necessary to ensure that Pantheon is developed and launched. Some lines can't be crossed, such as free-to-play microtransactions, because we promised that we wouldn't. Oh my god. So I'm going to read this here. Would we rather have Pantheon and have it be free to play with microtransactions? I hate those words even leaving my mouth. It feels dirty. I just can't. I don't see it now. I mean, there is a line, there is some line that cannot be crossed and Pantheon be what it needs to be. So again, why? That's why it's so difficult, because what's the greater tragedy? Pantheon not being able to make it, or let's say if every cent dried up and there was no more money to pay anybody, not only would the majority of this team, I believe, continue working out with every ounce and moment they could, but at that point, we wouldn't have to worry about the volunteer liability, right? So there are definitely paths moving forward, and that's where my mind ultimately goes. I do not believe that conforming to whatever the current expectation is of standard as an MMORPG in 2023 or 2024 or whenever, with free-to-play, microtransactions, casual-friendly, and super accessible, I just don't. It couldn't be Pantheon. It wouldn't be Pantheon at that point. And so then what's the point? With 24/7, at least I can say accurately and competently that Pantheon is well intact. There's no risk of Pantheon becoming something different than what it is. With a publisher for Pantheon, I mean, we have not seen an opportunity from a publisher from Pantheon that doesn't involve those requirements. Oh my god. Huh? So, they have one full-time developer, and this is I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video from last year when I covered the investor discussion where the CEO Chris Rowan was there with Co-Carnage, and they mentioned I think it was 24 full-time and like 35 total, or it might have been 25 full-time, 34 total, something like that. Because we did that whole discussion on the math of that and how long the money would last and everything else, and flash forward to where we are today, and Joppa just admitted he is the only full-time developer working on the game. One person working full-time, everyone else is part-time. You cannot realistically string people along for a decade and claim that you're going to have every year. Oh, alpha's coming next year. Alpha's coming. Alpha's coming. Alpha's coming. With what? You're one full-time developer. By the way, there's another company I know of that I can't speak of that also has one full-time person. Um, it's just, man, this is a sad, sad, sad state of affairs. But that picture of Bazram holding up the sign that says "Trust in Pantheon," I might even have to pull that as the YouTube image for the thumbnail, or at least pull it and put it in somewhere. I don't know. But this is the funniest thing. I didn't know that they had pushed this live. I hadn't watched the Q&A. I wasn't going to sit down and listen to them talk bullshit for an hour and a half trying to convince people that 24/7 is this promised land. No, it's not. You're out of money, and this is a last-ditch Hail Mary. And the other thing it is, too, by the way, it's the Chronicles of Valyria situation. To avoid getting sued, Caspian, over at Chronicles of Valyria from Soulbound Studios, is it Soulbound Studios, I think? I forget the name of the studio, but the reason he pushed out that little Kingdoms of Valyria game is because by doing so, he has fulfilled his legal obligations to deliver a product based on the terms of service, which means no one can legally come after him and sue him for failing to deliver a product. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, he did deliver a product. I'm not saying that this is what Visionary Realms is doing, but I am saying from an outside perspective, if you legally look at this and analyze it from a legal analysis, this gives them the foothold to push out a product that fulfills their obligations according to the terms of service for accepting crowdfunding donations. They push something out that is a viable product, even though it might not be the thing that people thought they were getting. Because remember the terms of service that say that they can change development at any point in time. This allows them, this 24/7 mode allows them to push a product out the door, have it in the public, and say, we did deliver something to you. Unfortunately, we no longer have any funding. No one is able to work on this anymore except on a volunteer status because, as Joppa just said, they are considering volunteer states right now, even though Ben was like, we're not currently looking at it. But he literally admits that he's the only full-time developer and everyone else is part-time that's working on the game. So they're out of money if only one person is able to work on the game. If only one person is getting paid full-time wages, they're out of money. So this gets them a product that they can push out the door, and then they can say, well, guys, we gave it our best shot. Thank you so much for being Pantheon patient. You know, Brad's vision, Brad's legacy. Tomfoolery says I just joined at the right time for Pantheon talk. Man, I got triggered because I was going over to show Liam a photo over at MMORPG.com from someone's signature and I caught that they had just published um, a they've gone in and watched the Q&A, which I was not going to do, the Discord Q&A from last night. Because the headline says Pantheon creative director says using volunteer developers not completely off the table. My headline is going to read Pantheon admits only one full-time employee. That's going to be the thumbnail, and that's going to be the title of this video when I pull this out after I finish the live stream today. Pantheon Rise of the Fallen admits only one full-time developer working on the project. Lies and half-truths, everybody. I told you last year. I told you all last year. I did all those videos last summer up into the fall, and that last video, which was the one that I ultimately, you know, some folks got offended over that used to be my friends, and at least one of them came back and apologized for the way they acted and the way they, decided to no longer be associated with me because I was saying bad things about Pantheon. They did come back and apologize to me, which I appreciate, but at the same time, it's lives have moved on and we're separate now. I told everybody last year that this was going to happen. I called it. Told you so. Don't give indie crowdfunded companies any money, folks. It is not a pre-order. It is a donation. They can do anything with that money that they want. They could deliver you a mobile game, and legally, you wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss updates like that, everybody. Love the headline, says Tom Fuller. I'll have to remember where to pull this out. I need to do a timestamp because I will forget where this rant was at.